Disclaimer. Please forgive me now, for there may be mispronunciations in this video. In southwest Texas, just south of San Antonio, near San Juan Mission, on Shane Road is the haunted railroad tracks. The intersection is stained with tales of blood and has become a notorious urban legend for San Antonio locals. The tragic tale revolves around a tragic school bus accident in which several students were killed. It is said that these children never crossed over and remain on the railroad tracks to this day. One of the legends takes place during the 1930s or 1940s, and according to this variation, a bus carrying students home from school was heading toward the intersection of Villamain and Shane. When it came to the tracks, the bus stalled. The bus driver noticed a train coming down on them, and the driver rushed to get the children off the bus. But sadly, there wasn't enough time, and the train hit the bus, killing 10 of the students and the bus driver. And another version begins similarly. In the late 30s to early 40s, on a dark evening, a nun was driving a school bus filled with children from a field trip. They were heading down Shane Road and was approaching the railroad crossing, but like the other tale, the bus stalls on the tracks. Most of the students were asleep, so she tried restarting the engine. A train started to emerge, but she couldn't tell right away because the headlamp was burnt out. By the time she noticed, it was too late to evacuate the children. The nun tried to quickly turn the key, frantically trying to turn on the engine, but then the train smashed through, cutting the bus in half. The nun was thrown through the windshield but survived. The young children were killed instantly. The nun couldn't handle the guilt and heartbreak, so she returned to the site of the accident and sat in her parked car on the tracks, waiting for the next train to come. But when the train was finally coming, she heard small voices, and her car began to move forward as if it were being pushed from behind. The train roared by, missing the car. When the nun got out of the car to see if anyone pushed her, she saw no one but children-sized handprints on the back of her trunk. The ghosts of her students had saved her life. Feeling blessed, she opened a school for orphans and taught there till she died. Now it is said that anyone who parks a car on or near the railroad tracks at Shane Road, ghostly children will push the car to safety. As the legend grows, so does the amount of tourists that travel from all over the country. People who have tested the legend sat next to the train tracks to be pushed and past them, with tiny hands on the baby powder that was left on the back of the car. Other experiences are of hearing the rumbling sounds of a train nearing, steam whistling, and screeching of the wheels as if a train is grinding to a halt, but nothing appears. There is another story that locals talk about. It involves a woman who was driving down Shane Road one night. She approached a railroad crossing when she saw a little girl standing all alone on the side of the road. She stopped, pulled over, and offered the girl a ride home. When she arrived at the girl's house, the child didn't want to leave the car. The woman assumed that the girl must have ran away from home after a fight with her parents. She told the little girl she should speak to her mother, but when the woman got out of the car, she looked back at the girl and she noticed she vanished. She opened her car door, but no one was there, but the seatbelt was still fastened. But regardless of people's experiences, there are no records of any accidents occurring on the railroad tracks in San Antonio. Some believe that the legend was inspired by another fatal accident that happened on December 1st of the year 1983 in Salt Lake City, Utah. The city was having horrible blizzard conditions, and a school bus carrying 20 students aging from 12 to 18 was taking the kids home when the bus stalled on the railroad track just as a 50-car freight train came towards them. Unfortunately, everyone on the bus passed away. Is it a real haunting or a gravitational pull? Apparently the tracks have been worked on, changing the elevation of the site, which will change the illusion of the cars moving on the tracks on their own. So what about the baby powders revealing the fingerprints? This is true. It can, only if it is finally placed on the material with a brush. Overdoing the baby powder will do the opposite and hide fingerprints and handprints. On YouTube, there's a channel called The Paranormal Files that film a debunking video on the location. If you are interested, you should check it out. What do you think? Did you like this video? Want to support this channel and get early access? Check out my Patreon page where I create content on cryptids, hauntings, serial killers, alien abductions, and much more. Can support me there? Like, comment, and subscribe here.